We're back in Leading Edge. He's John Cranley, mayor of Cincinnati, Queen City, fun town down there on the Ohio River. He wants to be governor of the state of Ohio, first elected in 2013. After 2 terms, he cannot run again. Harvard educated lawyer. You said something earlier, Mr. Mayor, you want to legalize recreational marijuana. And I'm guessing, I'm just looking at other states. I'm looking at the petition drive in Ohio. I think this will probably happen one way or the other. Some folks are going to say a bunch of stoned Buckeyes driving I-75 from Toledo down to Cincinnati doesn't do much for the psyche. But from your point of view, it's a matter of money that's going to be spent on that product somewhere.
That's right. And it won't just happen. Mike DeWine has said repeatedly he believes it should remain a crime. I do not believe it should be a crime. And I believe that people can make money. We can get taxes. Those taxes I'm going to use to guarantee infrastructure jobs, to do Wi-Fi, to fix roads and bridges, to improve clean water, especially the algae blooms in Lake Erie. This is a new source of revenue from the taxes for marijuana, and we could put it to work to rebuild the infrastructure. But this is a choice. Mike DeWine has said repeatedly he wants to keep it a crime. I believe it should be decriminalized. I think we should tax it and get the benefits from it.
If you win, you face a Republican legislature drunk with its own power. Ask the aforementioned Mike DeWine, and he's in their party.
Right.
How would you get anything done?
Well, I have a long history of bipartisan work. My city council is essentially four Republicans, 5 Democrats. I work with Republicans on every major budget, every major item. I very much have a reputation, which can be Googled very easily, as a centrist bipartisan leader in Cincinnati. I think that's what's wrong with America, is the Republicans have gone too extreme. And sometimes people in my party have gone too extreme. And so I have a history of working with people across the aisle. I'll bring that skill set to Columbus. But it is also the case that the number one issue in small town rural Ohio, which is mostly represented by Republicans, is access to high-speed Wi-Fi. This is a critical issue for remote work. It's a critical issue for farmers, for their tractors to work properly, to not overuse fertilizer and water. This is a critical understanding issue, and they haven't gotten the job done in Columbus, and I will, and I'm confident that the Republicans will help me to do that. There are also an increasing number of Republicans that do support marijuana legalization, but not enough to get over a veto of Mike DeWine. And I believe if a dividend is good enough for Alaska and North Dakota, both governed by Republicans, then I can convince them that it's good enough for Ohio too. Having said that, if they refuse, I will take it directly to the people. I will ask the voters to approve a constitutional amendment on marijuana and on my dividend idea if the General Assembly refuses.
So you've got your targets all lined up for Mike DeWine, but John Cranley, Mayor of Cincinnati, you've got another hurdle to clear first. Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley jumped into this race early, has secured endorsements from some powerful folks, including U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown. How do you dispatch her, but do so without handing the GOP opposition a lot of grist about her record in the event that she is your party's nominee?
Well, I intend to be the party's nominee because we're the only city with a comeback story for Ohio. And I'm also the co-founder of the Ohio Innocence Project, which has exonerated 33 people in Ohio from prisons using DNA evidence at the UC Law School. And I did some real estate development, started a restaurant that's doing very well. And so I have, I think, the broadest life experiences, common sense, wisdom, and results. Only Cincinnati started growing again after decline. Mike DeWine and the Republicans have shrunk the middle class in Ohio. To me, the key to the election is how to grow the middle class. Neither my primary opponent nor Mike DeWine has done so. In fact, their middle class, their constituents' middle class have shrunk. Mine are growing. I have a better record and track record and specific set of ideas for the future to have Ohio get its own comeback.
John Cranley is the mayor of Cincinnati. I read an editorial piece that you penned on this, and man, we've been on this in the show. John Cranley, why didn't the redistricting Ohioans voted for happen? I mean, how can the will of 70% of the electorate on the constitutional question just get tossed in the trash?
Because Mike DeWine literally said that he thought the maps were not constitutional, but voted for them anyway. That is cowardice. That is cowardice. You have a constitutional moral obligation to take an oath to the Constitution and live up to it. And I promise you, as governor, I will do things that I believe are right and constitutionally required, regardless of the politics. And these people, one power rule corrupts absolutely. And these people have become absolutely corrupt, according to the Trump FBI, who indicted them for the HB6 scandal, of course, coming off the ECOT scandal. And of course, they think they can brazenly ignore the will of the people on these maps.
Okay, now you see why I wanted this guy on my show. Game on in the Democratic primary. Nan Whaley's out there. We'll get her on the show. Absolutely. But at the wishes of actually the suggestion, State Senator Teresa Fetter, a guest on this program, is a big fan of yours. She's endorsed you, and she said, Jerry, you got to talk to this guy. Cincinnati's doing things. He's getting it done down there. We'll talk again between now and the primary, John.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the mayor of Cincinnati, John Cranley, joining us on Leading Edge. Up next, the pipeline. You don't see it. It's way underwater, but what it carries fuels thousands of jobs in our area. That's next on Leading Edge.